Enable screen share.
Hi guys, I think I'll just do a kind of little introduction. Welcome to today's class. Apologies, we are joining a bit late. We had little network issues. So I'm David, and I have here Shedrack. Shedrack is your facilitator. He's going to be your facilitator all through this program, right? So Shedrack is our lead social media guy at Socialanda, and he's going to be teaching you some things about, using social media and all that. So over to you, Shedrack.
Thank you very much, David. So welcome, guys. David, I don't know. I don't think I can share my screen. Okay.
You can share your screen now.
Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry, David, confirm you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen, but we can't hear you. You can unmute to speak.
You can't hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now. We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. So welcome to today's class, guys. As you can see from the live stream, today we'll be talking about basics of social media and social media management. So basically, here's a table of contents of what we'll be going through today. what social media is, what social media management is, the importance of social media management, what or who a social media manager is, the skills required for a social media manager, how to get started with social media management tools, as well as budgeting for social media management. So first off, what is social media? So I believe this is something that we should all know, given that we all use social media a lot to do a lot of things, from messaging to putting up our opinions and stuff like that. But I'll still go through the redefinition of social media. So basically, social media has to do with websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or participate in social networking. Some of these websites and applications include the popular ones that you know: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, So these are all social media websites and applications that we use on a day-to-day basis. So next up, social media management. So the basic definition of social media management is basically trying to, or developing, content that you can share, keeping track of this content online in terms of the interaction they get, likes, comments, shares, mentions, building a community of followers as well, and trying to influence that community. And also maybe at the end of a given period, let's say a month or a 6 months period, you also get to summarize and evaluate the outcome of your work, of what you have done with any social media platform with which you are using to share content, to develop and share content. And now, this, like I previously said, there are various channels of social media, there are various social media websites and applications. And these channels or websites and applications can be used to carry out this process, all dependent on what goal you set, either for your personal brand, or maybe you're having to manage social media pages of a particular brand. You go through this process, be it Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. You develop and share content, and then you keep track of the content, how well the content is performing, are people engaging with your content, the number of shares, the number of tweets, the number of likes. Are you converting people? Are people clicking to see what you are probably selling if you're an online vendor or something like that? Yeah, so that is basically it. And sometimes one thing about social media management is you need to understand is the fact that despite the fact that there are a lot of social media channels and platforms out there, it doesn't mean that a brand of you, for instance, if you have a personal brand you're trying to build, that you need to utilize or make use of every single social media channel out there. No, it doesn't mean that. Most often than not, the kind of brand that you're trying to put out, or the kind of brand that you're trying to sell out, we usually decide what social media platform or what social media channel you'll be using to do that. For instance, if you have a brand that requires you to share more of videos, then obviously you have to be looking at social media channels like Instagram or maybe YouTube to enable you share this content and see that they perform well in terms of their metrics, and also reach the audience that you need. Another thing to help you decide what social media platform you get to use is also where you find your target audience, where your target audience are located. Say you have, for instance, a crypto brand. Most people will tell you that crypto brands perform best on places like LinkedIn or Twitter. So then again, you have to focus on communicating whatever you want to communicate on those platforms, as opposed to maybe using the different platforms available on social media or different channels available on social media to market yourself or to put out what you want to put out online. So yeah, the importance of social media management. So basically, from what I've explained on the previous slide, social media management is quite important for a brand because it helps you to draw users' attention to your brand. You know, it also helps you to evaluate engagement data, create digital campaigns to maybe market your brand. Also help you monitor customer interaction in terms of helping you know what your customer needs, the needs of the customer, so that you know how best to provide a solution to them. You know, it also helps you with connecting with prospective clients and also communicating your brand message, you know, properly, so that people get to know who you are and what you stand for. So now we look at what or who a social media manager is. So a social media manager is typically a human being. That you know, it's typically a human being that is a marketing professional. You know, this person creates content, you know, interacts with, creates content, schedule content, share content, interacts with followers of a brand, you know, monitor social media trends and how those trends can help improve a brand, how those trends can help develop a brand into achieving their business goals. You understand? And the social media is also that person that puts reports on their account performance to enable the brand with which they're managing their social media platform for, to know what to improve on in terms of maybe improve on their marketing objective or their marketing targets or their marketing budgets, you know, to reach more people or to possibly communicate in a better way according to what their audience or their customers need, based off the reports put up by a social media manager. Because a social media manager is basically the person that sees everything, is also the first to respond to everything regarding the brand online, you know, interaction, what kind of content are the followers of this brand page interacting with more, what kind of things do they like, what kind of, you know, how do they like to be communicated with. So these are the things that a social media does. It's a social media manager to put up these reports for the brand to study and know how to move on from maybe a month or a 6-month period, depending on their marketing plan and their marketing objective. So skills required for a social media manager. First skill is basically communication, which is, of course, very, very important when you're dealing with digital marketing or digital or trying to digitalize your brand. You know, social media, as a social media manager, you need to be able to communicate properly on behalf of a brand. Like I said in the definition of a social media manager, you know, you need to be able to communicate on behalf of a brand. You need to be able to represent the brand for who they are, communicate the brand's message, know how to respond to public and private messages or comments, you know how to tackle an issue that possibly customer of the brand may be having. You know, we are all online, we all see some of these comments, we all go to some of the big brands, you know, let's use the banks for example, because of course there have been a lot of complaints about Nigerian banks. So you see a lot of people under their social media pages complaining that, oh, I did this transaction and then I've not gotten the money and stuff like that. So it's the work of a social media manager now to communicate properly what the issue, to communicate properly how to resolve the issue, either by redirecting that person to customer service, you know, so that they can take it up from there and then find and help solve the person's problem. So communication is key for a social media manager. The next thing is your creativity. Obviously, you need to be creative with the kind of content you put out to attract the audience that you need to help your brand grow. You know, using your creativity, you need to find a way to develop content that are related to what a brand is all about. If you're having to manage a social media page of, say, for instance, a fintech brand, so you need to be creative enough to know that, okay, this is a fintech brand. This is how I'm going to come up with messaging for this brand so that I'll communicate their services properly to the audience, and also use what I'll be putting out there to gain more audience, to tell more people about this brand so that they can follow this brand and then possibly convert them into customers for the brand. So you need to be creative. You also need to have collaborative skills, because as a social media manager, you probably will not be working alone for a well-established brand. You have a designer you have to work with. You'll be working with your design team. You'll be working with the normal marketing colleagues, offline marketing colleagues of the brand, to get more information on how to go about what you want to do online, as well as collaborating with clients and influencers, on your social media journey, to help develop the brand more and to help the brand achieve what they set out to achieve with their marketing goal. The last but not the least is organization. Now, this is very important because social media management involves a lot, like I said, from content creation to you studying data, to know what is best for the brand, replying messages, replying comments. So it's very important that you remain organized and set up your daily routines, that will help you operate well, operate efficiently, to avoid making mistakes, because you don't want to be a social media manager that gets to rework things. For instance, you're having to delete a post because maybe probably is the wrong post to make at the wrong time. That kind of thing usually doesn't help a brand. Usually portrays a brand in a bad image. So these are the skills that are required to be a good social media manager. Now, how to get started in social media management? First is to research your target audience. So let's say you are given a contract or a job to manage a social media page of a fintech brand. The first thing you need to do is to find out who your target audience are, who are your prospective clients, who are the people that you need to reach out to, what platform do these people exist, what platforms will be best for the brand to put out themselves out there, what kind of customers are you also looking at in terms of occupation, what they like, their age, their gender, their location as well. Location is very important because you cannot be marketing to every person in the world. Social media has a large audience, is a large marketing place for any brand. But then again, you need to find a way to narrow your location to the people that you want to reach to, or the people you feel you're supposed to be reaching out to. So you need to do a proper research, to know your target audience of any brand that you're going to have to manage their social media platform. Next up, after research, obviously, then you select the social media networks or channels or platforms that are best for them. Every social media platform has their uniqueness in terms of the kind of people that use such platforms more often. Of course, it's possible that one person might probably be going through 3 to 4 social media platforms on a daily basis. But then again, there are just people that, they're only focused on a particular social media platform. For instance, let's say Twitter or maybe Instagram, they just prefer Instagram to every other social media platform. They just prefer Twitter to every social media platform. So by the time you have done your research, you will not get to understand what social media platforms or what social media networks will be best for you to put out your brand in terms of what you're selling and where your target audience is as well. Then the next thing is to develop a social media strategy. So different social media platforms usually require a different strategy depending on your brand, marketing objectives. So it's important that you develop a strategy, that will include your target audience, the goals that you set, you want to accomplish, values, industry information, and the brand voice as well. So the brand voice is quite important because this is what people will know you for. You understand? Yeah. I was watching a video some time ago, and the guy was talking about how Coca-Cola, market themselves online. They don't show you the process of how they make Coke. They instead tell you that when you take Coke, it gives you refreshment, it makes you feel better, you understand, and stuff like that. So that is their brand voice, that is their brand message. So it's important that when you develop your social media strategy, you put all these things into consideration, and then you move on from that. In terms of your goals, I believe we'll come on to that in probably, if not this class, subsequent classes. In terms of your goals, social media goals, there are different social media goals, from awareness to converting, and stuff like that. So we'll probably come on to that later on. Then you design your profiles. Design your profile simply means putting out what your brand is all about on your social media pages, so that when someone comes, to your brand profile, they see what you're all about. Also trying to use the right keyword for that. When you're designing your brand profile, when you're setting up your bio, you try to use the right keyword so that once they go online and maybe search, let's say they're looking for online stores that sell footwears, you probably might have used that key phrase in your bio. Your social media page is most likely going to be among the top 2 or top 3, depending on your audience, depending on your reach as well, and the work you've put in on your social media page. So it's important that you design your profile to suit what your brand is all about. Then you create a publishing schedule. Now, creating a publishing schedule simply means, first, you have to create a content calendar. A content calendar is simply a sheet prepared to guide you on what to post on a daily basis, and then you go on to leverage some social media tools. There's Hootsuite, there's Buffer, there's Zoho, there's Sprout. These are scheduling tools for social media. So you go on to leverage them to schedule your social media posts on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, depending on what you have planned in your social media strategy. And next up, you interact with users. So you don't just post and go home to sleep, or post in the morning, go back to bed and sleep. You need to be active to interact with users. It might not necessarily be it doesn't necessarily has to do with when a user has a complaint. It might be just for the purpose of interacting. Say you put up a content that says something like what is your favorite activity for the weekend, and then people go on commenting on your post. So it's important that you interact with these people so that they know that they are not it's not a robot that is behind managing a social media page. Is a human being. And the way you also have to reply these comments, you need to try as much as possible not to be robotic, in the sense that you need to reply based on what comments you're looking at, because different people will definitely comment different things. Some will tell you that, oh, I love washing on the weekend, I love going out on the weekend, So if you come to your comment section and you're just replying great, you look robotic. But then when you spice things up, you get to tell people that, okay, there's a human feel to this brand as well. So there's a human being. These people are real in that sense. These people are real. We can trust them more and stuff like that. Then number 7, you work on improving your reach. So this basically involves you having to run ads on the content you've put out. so that you get to reach more people. You can as well try to engage influencers to talk about your brand so that you get to reach more people and reach your marketing goals. And then number 8 on how you can get started with social media management is to track your content performance. Now, if you've noticed, I've probably mentioned this up to 3 times in this class because it is quite important for you to track it. You need to know how, you need to monitor how you are doing online, based on your marketing effort. You need to monitor how many profile visits you're getting on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a daily basis, how many shares you're getting, how many likes you're getting, how many comments you're getting, the number of people you are reaching on social media as well. So it's very, very important that you track your content performance because this will help you know if you are on track in terms of your social media marketing goals. So social media management tools, I've already mentioned a few previously. We have Buffer, we have Hootsuite, we have Sprout, we have Agora. So I listed 10 here, but there are more than 10 social media management tools. It's all dependent on what you want to use them for, what your brand is all about, and stuff like that. Buffer is a scheduling tool, so you get to schedule content. Canva is also a social media tool. Supposing you don't have a designer, Canva is quite handy when it comes to helping you create designs for your social media pages as well. So I didn't mention Canva here, as you can see. So there are various social media tools that you can utilize in your social media management journey. So you can probably check more online. There's Sendable here, there is Crowdfire here, stuff like that. So now we have to talk on budgeting for social media management. So this what I'm trying to say here is basically you trying to know how much you are going to spend on social media management, how much you're going to spend in terms of trying to achieve your marketing goals on social media, whatever platform that you choose. This is usually dependent on the goals you set. It's also dependent on your company size. If you're a startup, you need to consider most of these things as well. In terms of goals, if your goal is to just create awareness and maybe not possibly convert, maybe your budget will most likely be lower than what it may be supposed to be if you're looking to convert. Also, if you're not also considering trying to engage influencers, to speak about your brand on social media, it's a possibility that your budget will be lower as well. And then, of course, if you own a brand and you have somebody that is helping you manage your social media pages, you also need to consider how much you have to pay them. There's a price range for social media managers. You also have to consider some other resources. Like I mentioned earlier, a social media manager working for a good company or a big company usually doesn't work alone. Person will have to work with a social media, with a graphic designer, as well. So these are the things that you need to put into consideration before you create a budget for when it comes to social media management. So here, that is pretty much it for today's class. I know it was I don't know if I was too fast, but it's probably like this in terms of how short it is, because it's an introductory class to just let you guys know, introduce you to what social media management, what few things you need to know about social media and social media management. In subsequent class, we'll probably be going to get into stuff like social media marketing, how to create content for social media, the kind of content to be creating for social media, and stuff like that. So I believe in subsequent classes, those things will come on board. And yeah, so if you have any questions, you can possibly, if you have any questions, you can possibly type them in the comment section. And I think David is still here and can read them to me. David, I don't know if you can hear me.
All right, so sincere apologies for the delay. All right, so I'm not seeing any questions here. If you have a question and you're still watching, you might want to say something so that we can ask your questions. Otherwise, you ask on the group. So I don't think there's any questions. Thank you, Shadrach, for this class. Do have an amazing night rest, guys. We'll continue the chat on the group. Thank you.